From Ashland, Oregon, home of William Shakespeare and progressive politics, and broadcasting live from the Southern Oregon University Digital Media Center and the RVTV studio, it's the So Not So Late Night Glamour Dave Show, and recorded before a non-existent studio audience with a skeletal crew of certified public access producers. You can expect to see tonight's guests, whoever they may be, the Glamour Dave Comedy Players, and the Rogue Valley Public Access Orchestra. Now, here's your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow.
Hey, Rogue Valley, welcome back to the second half of tonight's show. This is the So Not So Late Night Glamour Dave Show, and I'm your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow. And so we are continuing with the Christmas edition of the show. It's the last live show for me for 2019. And so I have, for the second half, I have my mother, once again, Dorothy Nienow, serving as guest sidekick, helping me with my interview.
Hello, Rogue Valley.
Yes. And then we have my last guest of 2019, fellow RVTV producer and friend, Nancy Bloom, sitting here with us. So welcome to the show, Nancy.
Welcome,
Thank
Nancy.
you. I love
This
sitting
is
in the
fun.
middle of this Nienow sandwich. You got David Nienow, Dorothy Nienow, and I'm in the middle.
Yeah, and you're the last guest of 2019 for me.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll go out with a bang.
yeah.
Yes.
So
With
yeah.
panache.
We have the fireworks,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
hey,
Yes.
coming
we're
right up.
good.
This
Yes.
show's being broadcast from a really exclusive, rich chalet on top of Mount Ashland.
Yes, one that's hidden. Nobody
Yeah,
knew.
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
So-
appears maybe every Christmas
That's
season.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then
This
it
was the
just
once
same
a
location that
year.
we had for last year's production.
It's really cold in there, Dave.
Well,
Yes.
it is. This studio is really
Yes.
cold. In fact, is there
Ooh.
something you could do to adjust the temperature here in the studio here,
Oh,
God?
thank you.
Oh, look there. We have a fire.
yes.
We
That
can
makes
reach our
it
hands
so
out
much
and we can
nicer.
warm ourselves up to our fire, courtesy of
that
here.
feels so
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this makes for a much more beautiful, relaxing scene here in the studio, getting things warmed up here. And so, yeah, thanks for doing that there, God Mike.
Nothing like a nice
You're
toasty
welcome, Dave.
fire.
Glad God is guiding this
Yeah.
whole journey here.
Too bad we didn't have the marshmallows.
What happened to
Oh,
the
we
fire?
had
Well,
marshmallows
you know,
and hot
with
chocolate.
the issues of losing my musical guest for the night because she became ill,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, the whole idea of the marshmallows just kind
We're
of
just-
went out the door.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not prepared,
Yeah,
but
so,
it would have been
know.
it would have been nice. Maybe some s'mores. I mean,
Well, Nancy, I'm thankful for you to come on.
Oh,
And,
good.
yeah, and, have a nice chat about what's going on in your life right now and
Yeah.
our work here at the studio. So.
Right. Cool.
So, any exciting news going on that you want to promote and talk
Exciting
about?
news. Well, tomorrow is the solstice.
That's right.
ah,
And
yes.
it's welcoming back the light. It's been a long journey through the darkening of the dark,
Yeah,
and it's all going to turn around tomorrow.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
we can
So,
celebrate the return of the sun, which
Yeah.
people do all over the
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
We'll just be in solidarity with
Yes.
them and celebrate our own way.
yeah. And I think tomorrow morning, Alexis and Aroldi, who are other fellow RVTV producers here, are going to be doing a show in the morning. That
On
is-
that very day.
On the
that's gonna
solstice,
be-
yeah.
It's going to be like, I think, one of their key subjects.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'll be here in the morning helping them and helping on throughout the day.
Great. I
Right.
love how you do that, both of you. You're just so on board helping all of us and actualize our shows.
Well,
That's one of the awesome things about this
Yeah.
is that everyone pitches in and helps everyone, and
yeah, it's a fun, wonderful environment here. It's been a wonderful, supportive environment for me,
Yeah.
and I've done things and achieved things here at the studio that I just kind of blows my mind that I've done what I've been able to do.
And is it such that you couldn't have ever imagined doing all this that you've
Yeah,
done?
oh man, before I came here and before I went through the studio classes and stuff, you know, I mean, I'd known about the classes for years here, right? But, you know, taking care of my father full time, never having the time to make it over here to Ashland.
Right, and what was, your father had a long, very intense illness, right?
Yeah, well, he had like strokes, and then he had dementia from the strokes.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. And so, you know, there was a long period of not ever coming over here to Ashland at all.
So it might have been years that you were
Yeah.
involved, immersed in that.
Yeah,
along
yeah,
with
he
you.
was, yeah.
And so, you know, it's like, you know, I'd been like a professional photographer before for a period of time, but I just had no vision or had any thought that I would ever, even if I came over here to take these classes, I had no thought that I'd ever once actually get in front of the camera and do
Really?
video, right?
Yeah,
I
that
always,
was.
I've always figured if I was going to do anything, it's going to be behind the scenes,
Right.
like everything else I had done before.
Oh, my gosh, so what made the switch for you when you went from the behind-the-scenes guy, you took the class, maybe still thinking as you took it that you weren't going to be on camera?
Yeah,
How did
well,
that change?
well, you know, it's a matter that, you know, when we went through the class, we had to do a Capstone Show,
Uh-huh.
right? So I suggested to my classmates that they do the show on the Crater Rock Museum, because at the time, I was a member, and I was making it to the monthly meetings, and I was going over there to try to begin learning some lapidary skills, just as a new hobby, and had always kind of collected rocks and gems at different times in my life, right? So, you know, there's always an interest there. So I thought, okay, well, you know, this is a great facility, you know, they deserve a show. So my classmates said, okay, we'll do that.
Sort of highlight them on
Right,
one
highlight
episode.
the museum,
Uh-huh.
right? I had no thought that I was going to be hosting the thing, you know.
So you thought you'd be on the camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna like work
Yeah.
the camera, do
Directing,
something,
maybe.
you know. But I was the only rock collector in the group, in the class, so my classmates said, you can host.
And you became a rock star.
And then
Yeah, he became a rock star from that,
what do
yes.
you mean you want me to host, you know? So, and then one of my other classmates, Cassandra, she has a long background in Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
So she was also chosen to co-host with me. So now all of a sudden, you know, I'm like expected to be in front of the camera, you know, talking and doing this show. And so that was like the first big surprise of this
I
process.
bet. And maybe having her there was encouraging, but maybe it was intimidating, or you might have been
Well,
nervous, or
it
what?
was, well, for me, having Cassandra there, knowing that she had this experience,
Yeah.
you know, from Hollywood, I thought, oh, well, okay, at least if I screw up,
She's
cover
going to
for
be
you.
there.
she can cover for me,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, then we got through the show. We got it done. And it wasn't quite as scary as I thought it would have been. But still, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? And then Cassandra and I were talking afterwards, and that show turned into Gems of the Road Valley.
I love that. I love how these things come about.
Yeah, so it was like kind of like this evolutionary process, right? And having Cassandra as my co-producer partner in the show, just kind of, she was like a really wonderful kind of support,
Wonderful.
right? To help me transition into this new role, right, of being in front of the
Great.
camera.
Right.
And we got like 15 episodes done. By the time we got to the last show, you know, I slowly got a comfort level.
Okay, so
doing
you
this.
got more and more comfortable over time.
Yeah,
You know, my story of how my show got started is similar.
yeah,
I was asked to come on somebody's show for half an hour
Yeah.
as a guest. And Susie Afterhide, who helped start RVTV
Yes.
with some others, was running RVTV at the time. She was the director of that show. At the end, she asked me, she said, well, how'd you like being on the show? I said, I loved it, but I have so much more to say. And she said, well, create your
Well.
own show.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, I don't know about that. She's like, let's have tea after she wrapped that up. And we went and had tea. And I just started feeling enthusiastic about all the things I wanted to do. And my earliest idea was the idea of Life Passages, which is still the title of the show, Life
Yeah.
Passages, The Soul's Journey. But I originally thought I would focus it on the need for young people to have rites of passage into adulthood in our
Right.
culture.
Yeah.
And so the first two shows were on that. The first one was an interview with a 16-year-old after his vision quest in nature.
Oh,
And the other
yeah.
was an interview with a man from Wairika who teaches drivers training, or if he still does, he did then, that was 23 years ago. And his idea was his teaching drivers training was the only rite of passage most of these young people would ever get.
Right.
So he tried to make it into that.
Oh.
So that was fascinating. We had some footage of him with his students, but right after that, I realized, oh, well, we're always going through life passages. It's
Yeah.
not when we're 16 or 18 or 20. It just happens again
That's
and
right,
again.
yeah.
Like your life passage of moving through the illness with your dad.
Yeah.
Your life passage of emerging from that to become this
Yeah.
Yeah,
TV host. And
yeah, and he's got how many
Producer.
shows now?
yeah, how many shows have you done?
Well, I've got 3 series active,
Yes.
and
Maybe it's hard to count them now.
you know, so I've got the So Not So Late Night Glamour Dave show, this show,
Yeah.
my Friday night show. I've got Rogue Artisans and Crafters, and then I got my small interview with Glamour Dave. So this Friday show and the Rogue Artisans are my 2 most really active that I
see.
really pursue and develop. And then the small interview is typically like emergency show production kind of a thing.
And what does that mean, emergency?
Well,
show?
it's like I book someone for a guest, say for like Rogue Artisans on Saturday production, and then the artist cancels because
I
something
see.
happens, and I still have to fill my studio time. So then it's like, okay, now we just automatically transition from Rogue Artisans into the small
Dave.
interview. Yes.
Beautiful.
You do a late night show called Digital Media Booth, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
There's-
Hey, I think we're
yes.
getting a whole show.
Well, you know, that's like a
Yes.
shared show. That's
Jeez.
me and Cosmo Tagato
Oh.
share production on the digital media booth.
Cosmo, with a
Friday
name
night,
like that, it
11:30
reminds
p.m.
me of God in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah.
And you have another
That's
show
the
that you're
voice of
working
God that
on.
we're hearing, I think.
So yeah, so we have that, and
A
so-
new show you're working on, the
Oh, yeah.
radio, TV radio
Yeah,
show.
we have Cosmo and I are producing, developing another new show, the Glamour Dave and Cosmo TV radio show.
Okay.
And so it's designed to look like we're in a radio station. And then we bring guests on, we talk about their activities, and then we run music provided by local musicians,
Nice.
right? And so we just got, we did a test pilot run. We had technical issues. We haven't like broadcast that. We're not going to broadcast that. Then we got the episode 1 done. just
Patreons only.
yeah,
Yeah.
we got like episode 1 done Monday night, and then and so then we actually played one of your songs. We played one of
Yes.
the songs from Jeff Kletzel, and then we had my musical guest that was supposed to be here tonight until she got sick. She was on that show Monday
I
night,
see.
and that was Jovita Enriquez.
Oh, I don't know that.
So
Musician.
she's new to the area.
She's new, but she's
Nice.
a beautiful voice.
Oh,
And
lovely.
so yeah, so that's like another new show that's like in development. That's
So
kind of
it sounds like all these array of shows are like a humongous playground for you.
Yeah.
You have so many areas
Yeah.
within it, like a 3 or 4 ring circus.
I got this year across the board with everything. I think I've done like 56 or 57 show productions
In 1 year?
in 1 year. So that's more than
Yeah.
once a week. So
Well, way more.
no.
Yeah,
so,
well, just slightly more.
Well-
Usually in a given year, I do, let me think, 2, 4, 6, 8 or more,
yeah.
about 8 a year. That's not nearly as
Oh, yeah, he's
No
taking.
way.
yeah.
Well, you've got your award from last year.
Yeah. Well.
He just received it.
This
Really?
came
When did
in
you
the mail.
receive
This
this?
came in the
Today?
mail today.
You're kidding.
That's my award for my small interview with Glamour Dave. It won for Best Talk Show at the regional
Really?
ACM Awards.
And who was your guest?
Well, my guest for the pilot episode was Leah Dougal and Brittany Rhea. They're from Cafe Girl Productions.
I think.
So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
actually that was the small interview with Glamour Dave was an emergency production, and so it was like I had like an artist cancel, and so I called upon my friends. They came in, and we instantly created the pilot episode for the series with this, and that was
Wow.
and it won for best talk show at the
That's
Best of the
amazing.
Northwest Award.
Yeah.
So,
I got one
but-
award for Best of the Northwest.
But it was like, I won this award like in April, and they just now like got me the actual physical
But
award.
they did get it.
But
But
hey,
they did
he
finally
got
get
it.
Yeah, so, and they sent me a nice letter apologizing for the tardiness of getting the award to me, and offered me a free entry at the next
Oh,
award.
good.
So,
We know you're going
Yay.
to enter.
that's right,
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
like about 3 or 4 things to submit to them, so,
Yeah, one of my favorite shows was one of those shows where a day or two before the person canceled, and
Yeah.
I had, let me think, 3 women come
Yeah.
that had been in my workshops.
yeah.
Universal
Yeah.
Medicine Real Workshops. A wonderful
Yeah.
show. It just sort of, you can pull it together. right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like we're doing now. We have no plan. We're just sitting here
Yep.
Just
improvising,
visiting, yeah,
hanging
and it just
out.
flows. Yeah.
Yeah, it's with the last show that we just had with Keegan, we had some technical issues, and the music video clips I brought in to play, and we're playing fine at home, aren't playing here. The audio,
The audio is gone.
The audio's gone, and so there's no music on tonight's Christmas edition of my show.
Well, maybe we can remember our favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah, well, I've got a few favorites,
Yeah. What are your favorites?
Among Christmas music,
Oh, yeah.
well, the Santa ran over Grandma.
Oh, yeah,
no, that
Rudolph
sounds a
ran
little
over, yeah.
dire.
You know,
Yeah.
That's a good old favorite classic comedy Christmas song. But Silent Night, actually, among the classic songs, is one
Love
of my
Silent
favorites.
Night.
Right.
We could try
Yeah.
singing them, but maybe
Well,
not.
I had
Yeah, no.
Maybe not.
I had Marianne Graham, who performed with the Christmas special for this year.
Last year or this year?
This year's
This
special.
year's, yeah.
She performed Silent Night.
Nice.
And then also Jeff Klitzel performed Silent Night as well, but he sang it in English, Spanish, and Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
um,
he did a
Oh, I
wonderful
especially love the
job.
Hawaiian language. It's very
And
beautiful.
and Jovita, who was my musical guest for tonight, she was going to sing Silent Night, and she was going to sing it in German, English, and Spanish.
And I
yeah.
love the German.
So we're missing out on that because she got ill. So
Well, but she
so
will be on
Jovita,
later.
if you're watching, take care of yourself, and we will get you on the show here soon.
That's right. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful voice.
That's the only part I know in German.
Yeah.
It's just the very beginning. And I just heard someone speaking of the fact that that song was created by, I think it was a minister who was walking back in Germany from visiting people in a village quite a
Yeah.
ways away in the very dark part of the night, and just became overwhelmed by this love of the deep stillness and the sacred feeling
Yeah.
of
right.
that snowy night, and that's
yeah.
where the lyrics came, and I don't know if it was his melody or he found someone to put it to music.
Well, I was just reading an article earlier today that kind of talked a little bit about the history behind some of the various classic Christmas songs.
Oh, that would be wonderful to hear
And the article talked about how the original lyrics and original music is compared to the modern versions. The older versions are a lot naughtier.
Really?
Yeah.
They were spoofy and naughty? I didn't know
They had a
about
little
that.
more risque lyrics. in
And
the,
these are from the 1500s or the
Yeah.
1700s.
yeah, so I
People-
thought, well, that's kind of interesting to
Yeah.
learn, So,
That is. Well, it would be interesting to find out more.
But you have a beautiful voice. I love listening to your CDs. I
Oh,
mean, it's
thank you.
just
Yeah.
beautiful.
What do you love about listening to them?
It's such a peace and tranquility that you feel when you listen.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
yeah, what was
Those-
it that
yeah,
brought you
those-
into doing the music?
Those, what got me into it?
Yeah.
It's a kind of an unforeseen chapter in my life. Speaking of Christmas carols, when I was very little, too, I remember this. My mother sang me these Christmas carols, and she had a book for children. It was showed angels with children and animals in the snow. And I loved the book, and they had some golden rays around the people. And I loved the sound of those carols, actually. I think I felt the sacredness of them.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't, I was raised by agnostics, still I think I was by nature a mystic. And I felt it so strongly and just always loved those particular songs.
Right, yeah.
And then, oh gosh, I might have been in my upper 30s, I started to, no, it was when I was turning 30. For the first time, a melody came to me. It's like channeling, really. It's like you
Yeah.
become a conduit, at least the way I do it. This beautiful one called Spirit that's on that first album.
Oh,
It's
yes.
an old-style spiritual gospel song. It came through, the melody came and the lyrics together. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So that was just, I went into ecstasy with that. It was amazing. And as I was driving home from where I'd been, when it started to come through, it was an hour and 15 minutes. So I got a chance to learn my own song.
Yeah.
A lot of times the melodies come, and I can't remember them unless now I know to put it on my iPhone. I used to record it on a tape recorder.
Yeah.
But that particular one, I held on to it, and those lyrics, the first 3 verses came all at once, and then I added more verses over the decades. And so once that started to happen, then I was like, wanted to be more open and keep listening for more songs to come through. And I remember my son's dad was saying, when my son was turning 8 or something, he was saying, or 9, he said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "I really want a recording device so I can catch these songs." And so they gave me that, so I used to use that.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
they
So anyway,
are beautiful.
I got on a roll with it and got really intense when I was in my 50s. It just, all these songs started to come through. I took a songwriting class during part of that, and the teacher said, "Nancy, you're like a 12-lane freeway. All
Yes.
these spirits want to get their songs come through you." So there were a lot of songs. And then eventually I was on a vision quest in 1996,
wow.
solo in the desert, and I heard the voice of Spirit say, "You got to bring out the songs you created already." I was like, what? I was just happy with these beautiful melodies and lyrics, and I kept them in a drawer. And
Yeah. Well, it's
no,
time to
I got to
share.
bring it out.
It's time
And so
to
I'm so
share.
glad to hear that you love those songs and my voice, and that brings peace to you.
Yeah, it is. It's such a, it's just a tranquil feeling, and it's just a peacefulness when you listen. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And actualizing those albums was in itself a spiritual journey, because I wasn't a trained musician at all, and I had to rely on contacting real musicians. I was just a song channel. And a real
So, yeah, yes, God, Mike.
I think I hear sleigh bells on the
Oh,
roof.
that could be, because I had made
Wow.
arrangements
Is that
for
tiny
Santa to
reindeer?
show up.
Oh
my gosh, look who's arrived.
Oh, it's Santa!
So,
There's Santa!
Merry Christmas!
Santa, you
Merry
came!
Christmas,
Yeah.
Santa!
all right, Santa has arrived.
Oh, good presents for all my fine little children here.
Oh.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, sweet.
Merci for your good self.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
even
you.
you, David.
Oh, well, thank you, Santa. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you once
Santa.
again
We love you.
for
Yes,
showing up,
yes.
Santa.
Oh,
Coming to
good
be
to
All
see
the
you
good
all.
little boys and girls are waiting for you.
Oh, well, time's coming. Time to go back to the North Pole and ho, 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 more work.
Get
Merry
those
Christmas.
elves working.
Merry
those
Christmas,
elves
Santa. Thank you for
working.
coming
Merry
on the
Christmas,
show.
Santa.
Ho, ho,
Make sure
ho.
everyone in the control room gets their gifts.
Oh, very well. Merry Christmas.
There's Santa.
Yeah.
He made a
So
special
we just had a
trip
visit
for
by
us.
Santa.
Yay!
Yeah.
Santa
So-
came early to us. He
Yeah.
brought us gifts. It
Yes.
couldn't have been
Yeah.
that bad.
Oh.
And Santa was kind enough to be on my show last year, and for a full sit-down interview.
Wow.
And we got to talk to
about
Santa.
that, yeah.
We got to talk to Santa about his life and how he kind of developed into the role that he does today. And we talked about his toy operations up on the North Pole. And
Awesome.
had an
Yeah, it was
extensive
really
half-hour
interesting.
interview, really
Look at
exploring
Santa
Santa's
in
life.
there.
And
He's
that's the interview
giving
we all wanna
presents.
hear.
That's right,
We
yeah.
wanna know
Oh,
more
there's
about
Santa.
Santa.
He's giving presents.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he's now in the control room and then delivering gifts to everyone that helped on the crew.
Gifts to the crew.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. And the
yeah.
crews on these shows are so essential.
That's right, they're
Yeah,
absolutely
look it.
essential.
We have
yeah.
a happy crew member.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the crew
so-
is
They
so
like
excited.
their presents. Oh, Santa. We love
All right,
Santa.
so God, Mike, where are we at in the time?
Dave,
Yes.
we are 26 minutes into the show, Dave.
Oh, wow,
We're
so,
getting
We
toward
have 1 minute
completion.
and 30 seconds. before
Whoa.
well, Nancy, I thank you for coming on the show. Now, at the very end of my interviews, we kind of do a thing where we can have an awkward moment, or you can toot your own horn, and I've got a cheap plastic horn that you can play, or you can try and win a small cash prize of 100 pennies, and all you got to do is answer a trivia question.
I'm not so good on trivia questions. What are the other choices?
Well, we can have an awkward moment.
How do we do that?
Well, we just kind of
Sit and
fall
be
into
awkward?
it. We
Awkward. Yeah, we kind of had that when the music
Portray
had no
awkward.
audio.
Yeah, we had awkward moments with the issues of our music video.
With no
So
audio.
that was extremely awkward because we got a video playing and there was no audio and we're live. I mean, how awkward can you get,
Right,
right?
and live shows
Is it
are a
live, Dave?
challenge.
We're doing
Yeah,
live?
yeah, we were supposed to be,
I
yeah.
forgot to comb my hair.
Oh,
So we could sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" to everybody, or we could do anything. Maybe
Yeah.
I can try for that cash prize.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'm
Yeah.
likely not going to know
30
the answer.
seconds, Dave.
Okay, 30
Okay.
seconds. Well, I'll let you know that the following question comes to us from the show's ancestral home of the Nienow clan in Mapleton, Minnesota.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we will bypass the Crater Lake since we got less than 30 seconds. So, because I got Crater Lake trivia just to distract the audience.
I love Crater
So,
Lake.
our category is Sex and the City TV show.
I don't ever watch it.
And so the question
Neither
is,
do I.
what celebrity had the bag that Samantha desperately wanted?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it was Lucy Liu.
Oh, I
oh.
love it.
Well,
Yeah,
see, I
you
never
wanna
watched
watch
the
it.
show.
My favorite actress.
Oh, well.
Okay, well,
Okay.
that's it, Road Valley. We will thank Nancy
See you
for coming
next
on the show.
year.
Thank
Have
my
a
mother for
happy
being guest
holidays,
sidekick.
all of you.
Thank my crew for coming in and helping, and we will see you next time, Road Valley.